Come on, man. Why y'all teaming up on me, man? What's wrong, man? Damn. If something happened in the past, it happened. What's wrong? You don't know who started what conversations. If I speak, nigga, it matter. Okay? Damn. And Quinn, I just gave you love. And you still doing interviews talking about me, my guy? Come on, Quinn, bro. You should calm down, brother. You see where you at, my brother. And Mess, if he alive, dead, or in jail, I don't know. You see where y'all at, man. Y'all niggas did that shit to y'allself, man. I don't care. But damn, now you doing interviews? I didn't do no interview. I just said, man, love the Queen. That's my little bro. But he's still talking. Bro, if you think this is going to be good for promotions, you should stop. This not good for promotion? Man, I'm on a humanitarian mission, man. I'm a philanthropist. I use my money to help my community. I do not have a nonprofit. I don't get no money from somebody to do this. I use my own money. I always been a community activist. So this whole, Bay Area thing, you Bay niggas just some haters, nigga. That's why you niggas stuck in the Bay.
There's a difference between somebody randomly bringing up an old situation and somebody responding after their name already got mentioned. JT can't tell people how to feel if he's the one who reopened the conversation in the first place. Once you speak on something publicly, especially on the internet, you have to expect opinions, reactions, and responses to come with it. That's just the reality of social media today. Now, whether people agree with the response or not is a different conversation, but acting surprised that somebody answered back doesn't really make sense. At the same time, I also understand what JT meant when he said certain situations are old and shouldn't keep getting dragged out. A lot of times in hip-hop, and especially in the Bay Area, old stories get recycled over and over until they turn into something bigger than they ever needed to be. Sometimes issues that were probably already dead behind closed doors get reignited because people bring them back to the internet for content, interviews, or social media engagement. And once the internet grabs onto it, it becomes entertainment for everybody else. That's dangerous because it can create new tension from old emotions that people may have already moved on from years ago. One thing I will say, though, is JT deserves credit for the work he's done in the community. Whether people agree with everything he says or not, you can't deny that he's been one of the few rappers consistently trying to give back. He's done toy drives, community events, outreach programs, and used his own money along with donations to help people around him. A lot of artists talk about loving the community, but the only time you see them around the neighborhood is when they need support for an album, a concert, or some type of promotion. JT has at least shown effort toward putting something back into the places that helped build him. And honestly, that's something more rappers should focus on. Too many artists profit off the pain, culture, and stories of their neighborhoods without ever trying to reinvest into those same communities. They'll rap about the struggles, make money off the image, and then disappear once success comes. Meanwhile, the same neighborhoods that supported them are still dealing with poverty, violence, struggling schools, and lack of opportunity. If more rappers took even a small percentage of what they earned and poured it back into youth programs, jobs, mentorship, or education, it could make a huge difference. Now, when JT talked about the Bay Area having haters, I can understand why some people agreed with him. The Bay Area has always had a weird relationship with success. Sometimes people will support you more once outsiders validate you than when you're actually grinding in your own city. There's a mentality out here where people can become overly critical or negative towards somebody chasing bigger goals. Instead of encouraging a person to elevate, some people immediately start spreading rumors, speaking down on them, or waiting for them to fail. Not everybody is like that, but it definitely exists. And I think part of that comes from the Bay Area being made up of a lot of smaller cities where everybody knows everybody or feels connected to everybody's business. In places like that, success can almost make people uncomfortable because it reminds them of opportunities they feel they didn't get themselves. So, instead of being inspired, Some people become bitter. That's why you hear so many artists say they had to leave the Bay Area to fully grow their careers. Once they hit other states or markets, people appreciate their talent without all the personal politics attached to it. But at the same time, it's important not to paint the entire Bay Area as negative because there's also a lot of love here too. The Bay created some of the most independent-minded artists in hip-hop history. This region taught people how to hustle, market themselves, and build fan bases without major industry backing. So while the Bay can sometimes have crab-in-a-bucket energy, it's also a place full of creativity, culture, and originality. The problem is that too many people focus on tearing each other down instead of building together. And that's why bringing old stories back to the internet can be risky. Even if people think they're just talking, those conversations can reopen wounds, restart division, and create unnecessary drama between fans, neighborhoods, or artists. Sometimes growth means leaving certain situations in the past instead of constantly revisiting them for attention. Because once negativity starts spreading online, everybody adds their opinion, rumors start flying, and the situation becomes bigger than what it originally was. At the end of the day, there's lessons on both sides. If you bring something up publicly, you can't control how people react to it. But at the same time, everybody involved has to understand the power of words and the influence they have online. The Bay Area already deals with enough division as it is. The focus should be more on unity, growth, ownership, and giving back to the people that supported these artists from the beginning instead of constantly feeding into old tension and internet drama.